today, which is Wednesday afternoon. I'm Pugs Moran. I do this every Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. Noon till we finish going through the list of things that I've prepared this morning. What is this show? Well, this show is essentially a roundup of all the things that are happening in your world today, in our world, in our shared world. It's designed so that you don't ever feel at any point in today that you don't know what's going on. We don't do divisive politics. Although it's kind of hard to, when a big story is going on, we don't do divisive politics. We may dabble in some politics, but I refuse to play that stupid game. This show was created as an antidote for what you get in traditional talk radio these days. Talk radio these days, to me, as someone whose career has been upended in talk radio because I refuse to exclusively talk about sports or politics. So this show was created as a way just, so that I could talk about so that I could demonstrate all of the other things that we could talk about, that we could have fun with, that we could tear apart, that we can argue about, that don't have anything to do with how you voted. So that's the whole purpose of this show. This is the first of two streams that we do. We do this one Monday through Friday. This is utilitarian. This is so that you're all caught up on all the little things that are going on. The one at 9 o'clock, that's Pugs and Parker. That's me and James Parker. We get together and it's also current events driven. I throw out a topic. He throws out a topic. We chop it up for about an hour every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m., all time Central Standard. And that's it. That's our programming day. Two streams. One at noon with just me, high noon, topics. And then one at 9 with me and James Parker, where we do sort of a team thing. All right. So let me quiet this. I've been watching for the last hour how the sausage gets made. This is some fucking gross sausage, dude. Seriously, I don't know what this sausage is going to taste like, but ugh, good Lord. All right. So we do the high noon show in a couple of stages. We begin with the history of today. We run through all the things that happened on this day, just get you up to speed on what today has meant throughout history. Then we talk about some people who were born on this day. We discuss their contributions. And then we go into some passings. We talk about some people who have left us on this day. And then after we've completed those three little hurdles, the history, the births, and the deaths, then we take a breath and we go, okay, so do we feel like we have a firm grasp of what this particular day has meant throughout history? And if the answer is yes, then we move on to all the topics of today. Hold on, I need a drink, because for the first time in 2023, folks, I believe... Thank you, Ed. Yes, it is a nice shock mount. I happen to love this thing. You are my personal Santa. Thank you so much to Ed for providing me with a really sturdy, really nice microphone that I love. There it is. There's the hiccups. Oh, God. This hasn't happened in weeks. Oftentimes, if you're a regular viewer to this show, you will notice that in the early stages when I start bloviating, I tend to get caught up in a little bit of a hiccup mess. And here we go. So, look, here's what we have to do. I'll let you listen. I'll let you listen into CNN while I battle hiccups. But I have to go dark for about 30 seconds.
All right. Congressman Davis, thanks so much.
Right back
Dana
while
Bash,
I
keep hearing this expression of hope from Republicans that Democrats are somehow going to be part of the extrication, the resolution here. What do you think?
I think if the shoe were on the other foot, good luck.
Right.
So it maybe ultimately, after we get, days and weeks, maybe even a month into this, maybe. But I just don't see it. I just want to return to what you were asking the former congressman about this split screen, because it's just such an indicator.
I thought I had it. I really thought I had it. Oh, my God. All right, so we're just going to muscle through. I hate hiccups. I don't know why this happens. Drink some water again. It makes it virtually impossible for me to continue on with the show in a manner that I feel is appropriate. Oh, that I just took a big sip of cold water. That hit differently. You ever take a sip of cold water and I thought maybe that did it. You ever take a sip of cold water and you got nothing in your stomach? And you just feel the ice cold water go all the way down to the pity. Ah! There we go. See, I changed the subject and maybe we can beat the hiccups. All right, that ain't happening. All right, one more time. I'm going to try this one more time. I'll be right back. I understand that we are going through. Ed, honestly, you know what? Doesn't a shot of whiskey won't do it. Ed suggests that maybe I do a shot of Jameson. A shot of whiskey won't do it. But you know what will? Weed. Like if I just had like a big weed pipe, that'd be fine. And then we'll get rid of. Somebody give me some weed. Somebody quickly legalize it in this state. All right, hold on. I'll be right back.
As a governing Republican, but he also saw that as the mandate that came down from the American people in the fact that Republicans didn't take the Senate. They didn't have a big wave in the House. Instead, it was this more status quo. Hey, guys, fix it. Get it together. And that's really, I mean, Jake, you kept using the word bipartisan. You're right that it's bipartisanship on display. But I think the more important thing is they're showing like that bridge between Kentucky and Ohio needed to be fixed. Like the federal government needed to do something about it. And so they're all standing there and saying, okay, look, we govern.
Okay, let's listen. And that was the end of the votes. Zinke, I believe, is the last one to vote. Congressman Zinke from Montana, who was a McCarthy vote. Let's listen to the clerk.
The reading clerk will now call the names of the members-elect who did not answer the first call of the roll.
All right, this ain't working. All right, so I'm just going to continue on through. It looks like in the fourth vote for the speaker, looks like Hakeem Jeffries has won again with 212 votes. Rep. McCarthy has 201, and Chip Roy of Texas, he got up earlier today, and he, instead of nominating, who was the guy that he not? Was it Andy Biggs? Wasn't that the guy that got nominated yesterday? And then it was Jim Jordan. Well, they got a third guy now that the Republicans are offering as a compromise, and that's this Byron Donalds guy from Florida. Byron Donalds received 20 votes. So absolutely no change. No change since yesterday. Oh, God. We will talk about it as I try and beat these hiccups. All right, let's get into it. It is high noon, the 4th day of January. Year of our Lord, brand spanking new year of our Lord. The baby New Year is still a baby, still in diapers. Got to change some diapers. January 4th is the 4th day of the year. It is 361 days. 361 days until the end of the year. So as we like to say, get those New Year's Eve plans started. The hiccups are not going away. All right, let's get into the history of this day. Let's talk about all the things that have shaped this day throughout history. I am getting ready to cancel the show. I am serious. This is bothering me. This is how 2023 is going to start out. 2022, every time I had a hiccup attack on the air, I was able to handle it. For some reason, I think it's because I'm distracted. When I try and defeat my hiccups, I have to go into a place of total silence and total concentration, almost like a Zen state. And then I can internally re-regulate my breathing so that the hiccups are beaten back. But that's not happening because every time I try to go into a meditative state, I open my eye and I glance over to the vote that's going on in Congress, and I get taken out of it. You know what's weird about this? This only happens here, right here, when I sit right here. Maybe it's this chair. Maybe it's the way I'm sitting that changes my breathing rhythm when I sit down. I don't get it. Because every time I'm in a real radio studio doing I've never had a hiccup attack while doing an actual radio show. Here it is. I can't. These are fat guy problems. This has to be a fat guy thing. It's got to be. On this day in 1896, folks, Utah is admitted as the 45th state. Utah, happy birthday to Utah. What is Utah? If we're all a family, right? So if we're all one big family and all of the states are like members of our family, who would Utah be? You know who Utah would be? Utah would be our smoking hot, young, beautiful, blonde sister who's like super religious and like not a slut at all. She's like a Mormon. That's what Utah is. If we were to look at the whole country as our family, Utah is our hot sister who is no fun at all. She's no fun. She's kind of a prude. That's Utah. But happy birthday to you, Utah. You became a member of the United States on this day in 1896. On this day in 1903. Oh, this is a serious topic, and this is going to go well with hiccups. Oh, my goodness. On this day in 1903, you guys ever heard of Topsy the elephant? Topsy the elephant. That's right. Topsy the elephant on this day in 1903 is electrocuted by the owners of Luna Park in Coney Island. This was done as a stunt for that massive piece of human garbage. I mean, look, people are complicated. You can be really good. Like you can create things that then advance human civilization, but you can also be, I don't know, what if at the same time you were producing child porn, right? Like you can do, that's Thomas Edison, not the Thomas Edison was producing child porn, but he electrocuted an elephant just for fun, just to promote electricity. And that happened on this day. Topsy, an elephant, is electrocuted by the owners of Luna Park, Coney Island. The Edison Film Company records the film electrocuting an elephant to document the death of Topsy. So here's the story on this one, because I want to tell you just how, if you think that we are pieces of garbage today, man, 1903, we had no rules. We had absolutely no rules. Okay, so here's the synopsis of what Edison did with Topsy the elephant. It was turned into a film called Electrocuting an Elephant. Fun for all the kids. Come on out, get your popcorn, and watch one of God's beautiful creatures be tortured to death. Go ahead. It's fun. It's 1903. We have no rules. Although I guess maybe maybe in 1903 when electricity was kind of new, did they not know how brutal death by electrocution? No, of course they did. The film documents the The film documents the publicity announced killing of Topsy the elephant at an unfinished Luna Park on Coney Island, New York City on January 4th, 1903. The elephant, still hiccups, the elephant had recently been acquired from a circus where she had a reputation as a, quote, bad elephant. Oh, she's a bad elephant, so we got to electrocute her. Why was she considered a bad elephant? She was considered a bad elephant because she killed a drunken spectator at her circus where she was being kept because the spectator took out his cigar and burned the tip of her trunk. He's just like, look at this, I'm going to burn the elephant's trunk. And he burns the elephant's trunk, and then the elephant killed him. So the elephant's a bad elephant for that? Are you kidding me? Anyway, the elephant had recently been acquired from a circus where she had a reputation as being a bad elephant, having killed a drunken spectator the previous year who burnt the tip of her trunk with a lit cigar. After several incidents at Luna Park, sometimes attributed to the actions of her handler, the owners of Luna Park, Frederick Thompson and Elmer Skip Dundee, Elmer Skip, claimed they could no longer handle the elephant and announced that they would hang Topsy in a public spectacle and charge admission. Hey, folks, bring the kids on down. We're going to hang to death a giant elephant who... I mean, come on, this is 1903. We were absolute pieces of garbage. We were garbage people. You know this isn't the right thing. Two dudes sat in a room and they said, hey, see, how do we draw up some publicity for our crazy animal circus? And they went, well, we've got an elephant nobody likes. Yeah, Topsy, she's a horrible elephant. What do you say? Bear with me. What do you say? We hang her up by a giant gallows right there on the pier and we invite people down. You bring the kids, we'll sell popcorn and charge it. They actually had that conversation in a room somewhere in 1903, and everyone went, that sounds like a magnificent idea. Okay. So what they ended up doing is, Dundee claimed they could no longer handle the elephant and announced that they would hang Topsy in public and charge admission. The American Society for the Prevention of the Cruelty to Animals stepped in, questioning the idea of hanging an elephant as well as making a public spectacle out of the death of such a beautiful animal. Thompson and Dundee cut the event back to invited guests and press only. So they're like, all right. We won't open it to the public, but we'll invite certain friends of the circus or whatever the hell it is they were doing. Let's see. What does it say here? Invited guests, they would just invite guests and press only, and agreed to use a surer method of strangling the elephant to death with larger ropes tied to a steam-powered winch. They also agreed they would use poison and electricity as well. Oh, they were just going to... What the fuck? People have always been garbage. Humanity, this is what I said yesterday, folks. Unless you are raised in a certain way, if you are left to your own devices throughout your matriculation through life, you will turn out to be just the biggest piece of shit, because it is just natural for humans to be self-centered. It is natural for us to take a knee to our own egos and just make sure. Narcissism, come on, man. It's all about, now you can be more direct about it, and you can say, well, isn't it self-preservation? Doesn't it come down to just survival of the fittest? Yeah, maybe if we were all still living in the wild, but we have created a civilized, heretofore thought to be, civilized society where we don't do shit like hang elephants and charge kids a nickel to come see an elephant killed. The 74-second film opens up with a standard Edison Studios credit. Like, Edison was like totally down for this. Yeah, let's do it. Let's put my name all over it. One sure thing I know of, long after I'm dead, I want to be remembered as the guy who killed the elephant. That's what he was thinking at the time. 74-second film opens with a standard Edison Studios credit. The screen says, "Electrocuting an Elephant, Thomas A. Edison presents." And then cuts to Topsy being led past a crowd of people through an unfinished Luna Park to the execution spot. And then you can actually see this video. The video, it's on Wikipedia. If you just want to see, I'm looking at it right now. I'm not going to look at it. I mean, I haven't clicked play because, come on. Like, I need that in my life today. All right, that happened on this day in 1903. We killed an elephant, and everybody was like, hooray! On this day in 1976, the Troubles, I like to document the Troubles. 1976, the Troubles in Ireland. That was a kinder name, a more folksy way of saying the Irish Civil War. The Troubles in Ulster, the Ulster Volunteer Force. They're the bad ones, at least from my perspective. The Ulster Volunteers are the bad ones. The Ulster Volunteer Force shoots dead 6 Irish Catholic civilians in the County Armagh in Northern Ireland. The next day, gunmen would shoot dead 10 Protestant civilians in retaliation. That's how it goes. On this day in 1999, former professional wrestler Jesse Ventura is sworn in as governor of Minnesota. That's when it started, folks. That's when it all started. You want to find out when our political system went completely in the toilet? It was when they elected a wrestler in Minnesota. And then here's the crazy part. He wasn't a terrible governor. And people were like, well, maybe we can start electing. I mean, they started out with a wrestler. I mean, that's where it began, with a wrestler. It was on this day in 1999. And then we got Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then, now we got like YouTubers and Instagram people getting into Congress. It's just, by the way, I've noticed, have you, that my hiccup stopped. On this day in 2007, the 110th United States Congress convenes, electing Nancy Pelosi as the first female Speaker of the House. That was on this day in 2007. It's not going quite as smoothly here for the GOP, who have won control by a slim margin, as we're seeing play out here on the floor. Not going quite as smoothly. Trust me, we'll get to that, because that's one of the big trending topics, as you can imagine. All right, let's talk about some of the births. Some of the people who were born on this day in 1643. Isaac Newton. I believe we know him today as Sir Isaac Newton, English mathematician and physicist. I don't know if that's true or not, but remember, the story is that he was sitting under an apple tree and an apple hit him in the head, right? And then he's like, hey, how did that happen? Gravity. And then, we got that. Born on this day in 1930, Don Shula, football coach, was born. Only coached a perfect season, right? 70 72 Dolphins or 74 or 72, 74. I don't know. Only guy to coach a perfect team. Don Shula. Had a bunch of steakhouses too. Went to a Shula's steakhouse. I thought it was very good. I enjoyed my meal at the Shula Steakhouse. Let's see here. Who else do we have? Born on this day in 1958, Matt Frewer, American/Canadian actor. You guys know who Matt Frewer is? Matt Frewer, I like Matt Frewer. Every time I see Matt Frewer in something, and he has acted steadily. Like, you may not know the name. He's one of those that guy actors. Like you don't know the name, but when you see him, you go, oh, that guy. Oh, I know that guy. Well, for me, Matt Frewer, his very first role, his breakout role was in a big one too. Max Headroom. You remember Max Headroom? That was Matt Frewer. Matt Frewer was used as the, early computer AI generated Max Headroom. And I don't know, what did Max Headroom do? Was he just Pepsi? Was that a Pepsi thing? Or did something with Max Headroom happen first and then Pepsi went, hey, let's make him, I don't know. Let's make commercials with him. I don't know. But Matt Frewer, happy birthday to you, Matt Frewer. You'd think, Max Headroom didn't launch him into a big superstar career where everyone knows his name, but we know who he is. You've seen him. If you see Matt Frewer, you go, oh, I know that guy. And he'd be like, that's Max Headroom. You'd be like, oh, yeah, I see it now. I totally see it. Born on this day in 1960, one of my favorite rock stars of all time, Michael Stipe, American singer, songwriter, producer. He's in one of my favorite bands, REM. Oh, I love REM. I had a nice conversation once. This was like 1997, I want to say. I was in England, and I had made some friends, because you'll do that if you're just hanging out in a bar. And I was, the jukebox didn't have any REM. And I was like, how does the jukebox not have REM? And the dude I was hanging out with, the little group of people, they were like, who's REM? This is like 1998. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know who REM is? So I told them about REM, and they explained to me Oasis. And, I had known Oasis. Oasis had by that point a number of hits in America, and they were kind of a big band. But I didn't know their hit, and we had a nice little conversation. I hipped them to REM, and they hipped me to Oasis. Okay. Michael Stipe, happy birthday to you. Born on this day in 1960. Born on this day in 1963, another one of my favorite, A Kid in the Hall, don't you know? Dave Foley, American-Canadian actor, director, and producer. He is, of course, one of the founders of Kids in the Hall. Hold on a second. My computer I'm trying to monitor what's going on in Washington. And if I don't touch my screen every now and again, it'll go black and lock me out. And it just did it. All right, there we go. Now we're back. So Dave Foley, Kids in the Hall. I love Kids in the Hall. I come from the 80s, and the Kids in the Hall, late 80s, early 90s Canadian sketch comedy show. The closest, there was a lot of sketch comedy shows that were popping up. The Kids in the Hall were different. The Kids in the Hall were like, most of the sketch comedy shows that were coming out at that time were almost exclusively tethered to what we recognized as a Saturday Night Live format, like that kind of sketch comedy. Kids in the Hall went full on Monty Python. Kids in the Hall, instead of tethering themselves where their origin story begins with Saturday Night Live, Kids in the Hall was a little bit different. Their origin story is obviously Monty Python, because the way that anyway, I love the Kids in the Hall. There is a tremendous Kids in the Hall documentary that I believe is on Amazon, as well as a whole new season of the Kids in the Hall. The Kids in the Hall, after like 25 years, came back and made a new season of sketch comedy on Amazon, and it's really good. If you love Kids in the Hall, it's very good. The documentary is also very good. So if you're interested in Kids in the Hall or anything like that, Amazon has a new documentary about them. And a lot of the things I didn't know, I didn't know, Dave Foley left the Kids in the Hall, and they didn't speak for like years. Like, the rest of the Kids in the Hall hated Dave Foley. And then Dave Foley came back. And it all had to do with their movie, Brain Candy, which I saw. I didn't love, but it was all right. But some people think that movie's brilliant, whereas other people are like, that's the worst film ever made. So I don't know. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Dave Foley. You're an icon. You are an icon of I was going to say Canadian comedy, but you're an icon of legit comedy. One of the founders of Kids in the Hall, Dave Foley, born on this day in 1963. Born on this day in 1992, American baseball player Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant's one of the Cubs that I like. There are a number of Chicago Cubs who I hate, and then there are a handful that I like. Chris Bryant's one of them, so happy birthday to you, Chris Bryant. Born on this day in 1994, big old Derrick Henry, American football player, Tennessee Titans. Born on this day in 1994. Hold on, I'm gonna have to refresh my stream here because it looks like Congress is doing nothing. Is my screen frozen? No, Congress is just doing nothing. They're doing absolutely nothing. It's embarrassing. How about some deaths? Let's talk about some people who passed away on this day. We got Elizabeth Ann Seton. All right, hold on. We're back. Elizabeth Ann Seton. You know who she is? She's kind of important. Elizabeth Ann Seton is the first American-born saint. She was born on this day in 1821. Saint Elizabeth Ann Seton. They built a new church. They built a new church in my hometown around about 1992, 93, or 94. It was a new Catholic church. And I'm in a very Catholic area. So every little neighborhood had a Catholic church. But they built a new one. It was like, ooh, they're building a new Catholic church. And they named it St. Elizabeth Seton. And I remember looking at that going, what? Saints don't have first and last names. What the? And then I learned this first American saint and kind of a modern saint. So I was like, okay, cool. No problem. So happy birthday to you, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, American nun and saint. I don't know what she did. I don't know what her miracles were. 1821. So you got to figure she's doing her miracles around 1851. When she's 30 years old, she's working. That's when from what I understand, 30 is when you have your prime miracle making skills. So 1851, what was her miracle? I don't know. Who knows? The cotton gin. Yeah, she was the muse, the whisperer to Eli Whitney. Dead on this day in 1986. Here's a sad one because this guy was awesome. 1986, Phil Lynott. Phil Lynott is a singer-songwriter, bass player, and producer. Phil Lynott was the lead singer of Thin Lizzy. Thin Lizzy is a band that were huge. They met, they just like kicked the door. And when Thin Lizzy arrived, rock critics and fans alike were like, whoa, okay. All right, this is something a little bit different. And they were huge. And then he died. And then, he died. And I didn't really have an appreciation for Thin Lizzy because they were at their peak around a time when I wasn't into 70s hard rock. I don't know what I was into. I think I was still pretty much just into whatever my mom was listening to. And thankfully my mom had impeccable taste in music. There was no garbage. A lot of like Beatles, Paul Simon, James Taylor, your Marvin Gaye, your Al Green, stuff like that. So that's kind of the stuff that was my foundation. So I didn't embrace Thin Lizzy when I was 9 years old, hearing Jailbreak for the first time, or Boys Are Back in Town. Or, I did discover Thin Lizzy around 2000. And I don't know how this happened, but I fell into something and I'm like, oh my God, this band is awesome. And just listening to all of their songs on their albums, like songs that never got radio play or anything, you're like, oh my God, this band is fantastic. I love Thin Lizzy. Thin Lizzy's a great, underappreciated band. Phil Lynott, dead on this day in 1986. Dead on this day in 1999, Iron Eyes Cody, American actor and stuntman. Iron Eyes Cody, we know him because like in the 60s and 70s, if there was you needed a role for an Indian guy, an Indian chief, you would hire Iron Eyes Cody. Iron Eyes Cody. Most famously, he's the crying Indian. Remember from those public service announcements from the 70s, 80s, and maybe even into the 90s? But it showed an Indian, this majestic Indian, sitting astride a horseback, and he's overlooking a modern American highway, and he sees a car roll down, and somebody just throws garbage out the window of the car, and then the camera pans back to old Iron Eyes Cody, and he's got the Indian tear, because look at what the white man is doing to my beautiful, beautiful world. That is that whole thing. Iron Eyes Cody, that's who he is. So we all remember him. He was Italian. He wasn't even Indian. He was. Now, this had always been a rumor. It's now been confirmed. Iron Eyes Cody. It's not even his name. He just was an actor. He was an Italian-American actor who needed roles. So he put on a headdress and they're like, hey, you kind of look like an Indian. Iron Eyes Cody. He was born Espera Oscar de la Corte. That's not Indian. That ain't Native American. He was an American actor of Italian descent who portrayed Native Americans in Hollywood films, famously as Chief Iron Eyes in Bob Hope's The Paleface, 1948. He also played a Native American shedding a tear about litter in one of the country's most well-known television PSAs. Living in Hollywood, he began to insist, even in his private life, that he was Native American. Like, he refused during his time because he thought it would affect his work. He's like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't Italian from Brooklyn. I'm Chief Iron Eyes Cody. Hey, get out of here. He spent most of his life doing that. Over time, claiming membership in several different tribes. In 1996, Cody's half-sister said that he was Italian. After his death, it was revealed that he was of Sicilian parentage and not Native American at all. So there you have it. There's a great scene in The Sopranos when the Soprano group is they're trying to cancel the Native Americans and all that are trying to cancel Columbus Day. And Columbus is a great Italian American in the eyes of the Sopranos. So the Soprano crew decides that they're going to go bust up the protest. They're going to go down there with baseball bats and they're going to beat up all of these Indians who want to get rid of Columbus because, again, the Soprano crew thought that Columbus is a great American, great Italian, right? Great Italian discoverer. Well, there is a scene where they go into a negotiation with the head of this tribal organization, and they're meeting in a lawyer's office, and the Sopranos are there, Paulie Walnuts. And it's revealed by the Sopranos to the tribal chief that Iron Eyes Cody isn't even an Indian, that he's Native American. And for years, we were all like, is that true? Is that even true? And it turns out it is absolutely true. The Sopranos knew. Iron Eyes Cody, dead on this day in 1999. Dead on this day in 2011, Jerry Rafferty. Now, do you guys remember Jerry Rafferty? Jerry Rafferty, what's his most famous song? Trying to think. Stuck in the Middle with You, right? And that I don't know. I was quickly trying to find some Jerry Rafferty, but why? Stuck in the Middle with You. Didn't he also do Baker Street? Isn't that another one of his songs? I don't know. Anyway, Jerry Rafferty, singer-songwriter, died on this day in 2011. Dead on this day in 2021, Tanya Roberts. Boy, oh boy. You remember when she died? I remember when she died. Tanya Roberts was she was Charlie's Angels. She was like one of the last Charlie's Angels. Originally, there were 3 Charlie's Angels, and then one by one, they started dropping off, and, Farrell left, and then they replaced him with Cheryl Ladd, and then Cheryl Ladd left, and they replaced her with Shelley Hack. And then Shelley Hack left, and they replaced her with Tanya Roberts. Tanya Roberts was the last one. She was also in Beastmaster. You guys remember Beastmaster? She played the slave girl. Yeah, Tanya Roberts was she's a good one. She was definitely I'm 15, 16 years old looking at her in Beastmaster going, yep, okay, I'll take one of those. She died from a urinary tract infection. 71 years old, 2021. She died of a urinary tract infection. She was out hiking. Midge, most people might know her as Midge from that 70s show. She was she was the neighbor Midge on that 70s show for years. She went for a hike and she felt stomach pains. So she went home and laid down and slept for 12 hours and woke up in the morning, and she got out of bed and collapsed on the floor and couldn't move. And her urinary tract infection had gone sepsis, and she basically died a day later in the hospital. Really sad. Urinary tract infections. Jeez Louise. All right, that's it. That's it for the deaths. That's it for the births. That's it for all the history we've covered today, fully and completely. Do we feel we have a good understanding of what today has meant? Okay, good. I do. Let's move on. Speaker of the House. Let's talk about the things that are trending today. This is a rundown list. What we do is we throw out the topics. I tell you why it's trending. I give you a quick little hot take on it, and then we move on to the next subject. We don't spend too much time on any one. Some we spend more time than others, but let's get it started. Speaker of the House. I don't know. What do you want me to say here? This is a cluster F. This is they can't say shit show on TV. So on CNN, I think it's Jonah Goldberg. Is it Jonah Goldberg? I think he has dubbed this a fecal fest. It's not a shit show. It is a fecal fest happening in the United States Congress at this moment. They've just concluded the fourth vote for the new Speaker of the House back in November. The GOP retook the House by a very narrow margin, but they did retake the House. They've got a 4-vote lead. That means there are 4 people. If all the GOP voted one way and all the Dems voted another, the GOP would have a 4-vote lead. Unfortunately, the GOP is not voting together. They're not working towards one goal. They're all just kind of going off in different directions. And the problem is Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy wants to be speaker. He wants to be speaker so bad. He's wanted to be speaker for 20 years now. He has been working towards this goal. And unfortunately, during his tenure, I suppose, as what's going on now? McCarthy suffers defeat on 4th ballot as GOP mutiny grows. Okay. There are 20 at last count. Yeah, 20. There are 20 people. Remember, he only has a 4-vote lead. So he's 16 to the negative as far as votes to become the next speaker. Actually, no, he's 20 to the negative. What am I talking about? Anyway, he's got 20 people who are saying 20 people in his own party who are saying that we don't want you to be speaker. So they're offering up other candidates that don't have a chance in hell of winning. Hakeem Jeffries, who the Democrats are voting for, he has won every vote. They've done 4 votes now. And even though it's a Republican majority, they keep giving the winning vote total to Hakeem Jeffries, who's just sitting there going, yeah, I'm never going to get to the threshold of, what is it, 219, 218, something like that. I don't know. He's like, yeah, I'm never going to get to that unless, where's he at? 212. So he needs what? 6 defections from the Republicans to make the unprecedented. It's never going to happen. You can't have a majority in the House be one party and then the speaker be of the minority party. Has that ever happened before? I mean, technically it could happen. It certainly could. And all bets are off the table because this is some crazy, as Jonah Goldberg called it, fecal fest type nonsense going on here. So I don't know. They've done it 4 times. The results have been exactly the same. They did it 3 times yesterday. And then they said, you know what? We need to take a break because, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And so they took a break yesterday about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they said, we'll get back on this tomorrow at noon. Everything will be fine tomorrow at noon. So they reconvened. They did the first vote, the 4th vote now, turned out exactly the same way. So whatever the delay was in the speaker vote, it didn't change anything. All it changed was that Chip Roy, congressman from Texas, after McCarthy's name was put in the nomination, and then Hakeem Jeffries' name was put in the nomination. Then they got a 3rd guy, then Chip Roy. Here comes old Chip Roy. Hey, everybody, I'm going to just chuck this monkey wrench into the system, and I'm going to offer a 3rd guy. Today, that 3rd guy is going to be, and it's just some dude from Florida. Some dude from Florida who's been in Congress like 2 years. Like, he has no cred at all to be speaker, but he got 20 votes. And those 20 votes are the reason that McCarthy doesn't get his speakership. This, by the way, just the way this is playing out, even if by some miracle, these people who are the never Kevins, if by some miracle that the never Kevin voters decide to throw their votes in for Kevin, this is going to be a mess of a House because he's got no majority to count on. He's dealing with the Matt Gaetzes and the Boberts and, all these other crazy people who we've seen with their QAnon nonsense and all that. These people are not going to back down. And it's just a mess. Anyway, we'll see how it plays out. It's fascinating. But in the meantime, ain't nothing getting done. I liked yesterday how they used the excuse of, well, this was supposed to be the day that all the new members of Congress were sworn in, but the new members of Congress don't get sworn in until after the speaker is elected. And since we can't elect the speaker, we're not going to be able to do the new swearing in. By the way, the swearing in of the new, that's just performative. That's not, they are actually already members of Congress, but they get their picture taken. They invite their families down. It's a big moment the first time that a congressman is sworn in. So that was planned for yesterday. So all of these new congressmen had all of their family there. Just that's why you saw a bunch of kids walking around and all that kind of stuff. So they canceled it. They said, you know what? Look, we're not going to have our family, all of our wives and mothers and kids, they all got gussied up. They've been down here. And now they're sitting here waiting for this nonsense to end. Let's end this. And then let's just let all of our family members go home. Let's all go out to dinner. So that's kind of what happened. And that's where we are. Who's talking here? Rep. Warren Davidson, Republican of Ohio. Let's see what he's getting into.
He led the conference to adopt substantive reforms that will make our majority more effective. Let me list some of them. Andrew Clyde's proposal to restore public access to the Capitol.
All right, we don't need. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I don't know what this guy is doing. Warren Davidson, rep from Ohio. All right, let's move on. We'll be monitoring this, although I can't imagine that anything is going to happen, anything new or I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how you fixed it. I don't know what you do here. Nobody is going to get to the threshold needed to appoint a new speaker unless some people back down. And I don't see Matt Gaetz backing down. He's going on all the Twitter. He's like, nah, nah, nah. He's not. I don't know. Let's see here. What else is big? Monster storm. We got a monster storm that is just beating the snot out of San Francisco right now. I saw San Francisco Mayor London Breed, who, by the way, has a really cool name. I love that name. Mayor of San Francisco is London Breed. London Breed sounds to me like a band from the 80s that I would have liked. It's dude, you going to the London Breed concert? No, she's the mayor of San Francisco. Bay Area storm live updates. Schools are closed for Wednesday and Thursday here, I'll just read it to you. An extremely dangerous. Are you kidding me? I get a pop-up for Atlantis, Paradise Island, Bahamas. I ain't going to Atlantis. San Francisco. Dateline. An extremely dangerous atmospheric river has moved into the Bay Area, and the first round of rain is already causing flooding on roadways and highways around the region. ABC 7 meteorologist Drew Tuma says that the first wave won't be the worst of it. The second round, which arrives anywhere between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. today, will slowly crawl over us with heavy rain, which will make our flood threat high. The storm is ranking at a level 5, which apparently is the worst possible storm you can get. So let's see here. 10 a.m. Several Bay Area schools have announced closures for Wednesdays and Thursday. California Highway Patrol say high wind advisories have been issued for the Bay Bridge, the San Mateo Bridge, and the Dumbarton Bridge. BART, which is their transit system, is saying up to 1 hour system-wide delays due to weather. BART is warning riders that there may be delays system-wide due to wet weather conditions. Anyway, San Francisco's going through hell. San Francisco's going to flood. They're going to go underwater. So, we'll be watching for that terrible, terrible weather. Once in a lifetime rain. Like the crazy snow that Buffalo got. Once in a lifetime snow. That's over on that side of the country. Over on the other side of the country. Once in a lifetime rain. So we'll follow the monster storm that is battering Northern California and San Francisco, to be specific. Putin's health is trending. People are talking about Putin's health. Denmark has Secret Service. Denmark's Secret Service, which isn't like our Secret Service, like Denmark's, as I read this, like our Secret Service protects the president, right? That's what they do. They're the Secret Service. They protect the president. That's not Denmark. Denmark's Secret Service is more like their CIA. They're secret. They're getting all the secret. That makes more sense to me. I never really understood why the guys who protect the president are Secret Service. Secret. Why is it a secret? It's not a secret. We see them. They're not secret. They're right there. You don't want the Secret Service to be secret. You want people to know that the president is heavily guarded by well-trained, whatever. Putin's health is trending because the Danish or Denmark. Is Danish Denmark? Is that the same thing? It should be. And for the sake of this conversation, I'm just going to make them one thing. The Danish Secret Service has revealed information that leads them to believe that Vladimir Putin's health is far worse than maybe he is letting on. And he's not letting on anything at all. Vladimir Putin's health. Secret Service reveals important detail about his alleged cancer. The reports that Vladimir Putin is suffering from cancer and Parkinson's disease are multiplying. He is said to have already undergone an operation and is only still alive thanks to Western medicine. Let's see here. What is the report? Since Putin started the war in Ukraine, the world's gaze has been on him. Every step, every speech, and every lapse is analyzed and interpreted. At the forefront are rumors that the dictator is allegedly suffering from cancer. So far, there's no evidence that the 70-year-old is really ill, and Russian authorities reject the allegations. Nevertheless, all secret services are concerned with the physical well-being of the Russian president. All right, hold on. Denmark's Secret Service, which has now given the Danish... Okay, it is Denmark and Danish. Denmark's Secret Service, which has now given the Danish daily Berlingske, it's their newspaper, the daily Berlingske, an insight into its findings. According to an agent of the Danish Defense Intelligence Agency, Putin has just received hormone treatment for cancer. In addition, Putin has been suffering from chronic pain for a long time, which is why he would repeatedly hold on to tables and chairs to support himself during public appearances. Remote diagnosis. Anyway, this article has been translated. Okay, anyway, Danish Secret Service seems to think that he's sick. And they're saying, look, we found out that he's taking hormone treatments and then all these things. Who's the speaking? Oh, Boebert is speaking. Let's see what kind of nonsense coming out of her.
Someone who almost even took leadership
head
in
hole.
the Republican Party and came very close in doing so, and it was a very brave run that he took. He's a man who understands what tough times look like, and it's come out of those tough times.
I have no idea who she's talking about or who she's trying to put in the nomination. She looks good, though. Woo! Lauren Opal Boebert looking good. She looks good in a pair of jeans. I like her in jeans and boots. She looks good. There you go. Yesterday I paid compliments to who's that chick? Who's the chick? Who's the Ocasio-Cortez? That's her. Yesterday I paid compliments to her, where I said she looked really nice. Now I'm lusting after Boebert. Boebert looks good. And I don't bet she doesn't even need to wear glasses. I bet she's just thinking they make her look smarter. I bet you that's her deal. But they work. They work with her whole look because she's like without glasses, she's not nearly as interesting looking as she is with glasses. All right, that's enough. Stop sexualizing members of Congress. Okay, I will. But really, what else do we have to go? We have nothing else. These people are just vacant husks. What else am I supposed to judge them on? What am I supposed to judge Lorena Boebert on other than how she looks? I mean, I could go negative, sure, but why? We don't do that. That's divisive. So I'm just trying to say nice things about these people. You go negative about AOC too, but why? She looks nice in a dress. What, you want me to lie about that? Damar Hamlin is still trending. Damar Hamlin, his family reportedly provides an update. He is still, I don't know. I mean, I've heard a couple of different things. Like they were talking about it on ESPN this morning, and somebody said, well, he's still in a coma. And I don't know if that's scientifically or medically the proper way to say what he is. He's still got tubes. Well, here, I'll just read it to you since this is kind of a representative for the Buffalo Bills. A representative for Buffalo Bills safety, Damar Hamlin, has reportedly offered an update Wednesday on the player's health as he remained in the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Doctors at the hospital got promising readings that they had been hoping to see. This citing Jordan Rooney and the Hamlin family. Rooney, who is a friend of Damar Hamlin and does all of his marketing and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Doctors at the hospital got promising readings about Rooney reportedly added that it appears progress was made. Hamlin is still in the ICU, sedated, and considered to be in critical condition. Rooney also clarified to the outlet that Hamlin needed to be resuscitated only once on the field. Dorian Glenn, Hamlin's uncle, told CNN on Tuesday night that Hamlin's heart needed to be restarted twice, however. So, I don't know what that's so. Two heart, I don't know. I don't know the difference there. Rooney also cautioned that Hamlin still had a long way to go in his recovery, but the family was optimistic. They are elated right now, he added to the Associated Press. DeMar is still their first concern, but for them, they always look at how they can turn a somewhat troubling situation into a good one. The bounce back from this for him and his family is going to be incredible. Rooney has said he is Hamlin's friend and marketing rep. He released a statement on behalf of the family on Tuesday afternoon. It is unclear how close he is in touch with the medical doctors working on the player. Hamlin went into cardiac arrest at 8:55 p.m. during Monday night's game against the Cincinnati Bengals after making a tackle on T. Higgins. Medical staff performed CPR for 9 minutes on the field before he was then taken to a local hospital. Okay, so there's the update on Damar Hamlin. Not really much of an update. He is still in critical condition, and he was placed in a medically induced coma. I remember hearing that on night one, but I don't know that they're still calling it that. Sedated is now what I'm saying. He's sedated. So is that different? I don't know. I'm not that is different, right? A coma is how Michael Jackson used to go to sleep. I don't know that it's the same thing as being sedated. Mega Millions is trending. Who wants to be a billionaire? Because yeah, we're back in that nonsense. Mega Millions is back up to $1 billion. Apparently there's a drawing tonight, which means I'm going to have to waste one of my few remaining dollars on a Mega Millions ticket. Why? Because hope. As long as you have that ticket, there is hope. I live on hope. Hope is my gasoline. The Mega Millions jackpot increased to an estimated $940 million after another drawing resulted in plenty of losers, but not a single grand prize winner. The next drawing is scheduled to be held Friday night. Was that Friday night? I thought it was Wednesday. What was it? When is the story? January 4th. This is from today. Why is this trending now? Okay. The new $940 million jackpot is for a winner who chooses to be paid through an annuity over 29 years. Nearly all winners opt for cash payout, of course. The annuity thing. They try to get you on the annuity. Yeah, we'll pay you this every year for the next 20 years. No, just give it all to me now. I don't trust you people. Are you watching what's happening in the United States Congress? Are you watching this? You think that I trust that in 20 years we're going to have all the same rules and regulations around here as we do now? No, thank you. Just give me all the money now. I'm going to just handle the money. You people. I hate that. Most people do that, right? I think so. In Tuesday's drawing, there were, let's see here, the new $940 million jackpot is for a winner who chooses to be paid through an annuity over 29 years. Nearly all winners opt for a cash payout, which for Friday night's drawing would be an estimated $500 million. I'll tell you what, I will take the $500 million right now. Just give me $500 million, put it in my bank, and we'll walk away friends. But we are not going to engage in a 20-year relationship where I have to wait for you to send me a check. Because quite frankly, we could be North Korea in 20 years. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Just give me the money. Give me the money so I can buy my own island and I can go create my own civilization. It'll be beautiful. That's what I would do. If I had like $1 billion, I'd just go buy an island and then I'd find the people that I like most, and I'd say, come live on my island. You don't have to work anymore. I'll build you beautiful homes. We'll create. You want to start a restaurant? You run the restaurant in town. Well, you're a school teacher. You build the school. We'll just do this whole thing. It'll be nice. We'll all live here. We'll have no pressure, no nothing. Just live on the island. That's how I would spend my money. I've got a lot of different ways that I would spend my money. I'll tell you what, all of you can come, all of you people who have been hanging out with me for these high noon shows these past couple of years, you people are all getting houses built for you. Why not? I can do it. It's not like I've got 1 billion listeners or 1 billion streamers. I can take each and every one. Cameron Grant, you get a house on my private island. Frank Smith, you get a house on my private island. Ross Rubio, you get a house on my private island. Ross Rubio, I will build you the most amazing music studio on my tropical island. You, sir, are being taken care of. Everybody gets something. Everybody gets something. I'm like Oprah. Everybody gets a house on my island. All right, Mega Millions. There you go. Start dreaming now and go get your ticket. Tesla is trending today for something other than their tanking finances. Did you guys see this crazy story out of California? So a Tesla with two kids, a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, a woman and a man, a Tesla drove off a cliff in Northern California. They're saying, and everybody's like, because people hate Elon Musk. I don't hate Elon Musk. I just think he's a weirdo. I don't have really any hate for him. He's just weird. But people hate Elon Musk. So the story was, you see, it's probably one of those remote driving Teslas that was on auto and it drove this family right off the cliff. No, it didn't. Because an arrest has been made. The guy driving is accused of intentionally driving the car off the cliff in order to kill the woman and 2 children. That's right. Man accused of intentionally driving off a cliff with his wife and 2 children face attempted murder charges. Here's how it went down. A 41-year-old California man faces multiple charges after he allegedly drove off a cliff on the Pacific Coast Highway with his wife and 2 children. All 4 occupants of the Tesla survived. I gotta let the dog in. Folks, I'm sorry. You hear? This is gonna be a problem. This little bitch. Ugh. I mean, I love her. Don't get me wrong. Ugh. Gotta let the dog in. I apologize. Come on, get it. Go lay down. Good girl. Go lay down. I don't want none of your nonsense. All right. I apologize. We'll get back to the crazy Tesla guy. There we go. We want that one. Okay. That's weird. A 41-year-old California man faces multiple charges after he allegedly drove off a cliff on the Pacific Coast Highway with his wife and 2 children. All 4 occupants of the Tesla survived the crash. Yeah, very good. Very good. There is there's a very good indicator of the safety of the Tesla because they're showing this Tesla. This Tesla drove out here. I can probably show it to you. You want to see this car? People survived. They survived this car. It drove off one of those. We've all seen those. We've seen those. What the heck is going on here? I get it. I didn't do that. Okay, never mind. I can't show you. But the car was like just absolutely destroyed. It went off the cliff the way we see in a bunch of Hollywood movies when cars go off those Pacific Coast Highway cliffs and then into the valley or whatever, they tumble end over end. It did that. The car looked like, you can't even tell it's a Tesla, first of all. You can tell it's a white vehicle, but it's all smashed. All 4 occupants survived. All 4 survived the crash Monday after the car plunged 250 to 300 feet below the road into a rocky beach area known as Devil's Slide. This is about 20 miles south of San Francisco. California Highway Patrol spokesman Officer Mark Andrews said the car's 3 passengers were the driver's wife and 2 children. Their names are not being released. San Mateo County Sheriff's Office initially said in a social media post that the children were unharmed, but the California Highway Patrol said occupants of the car were taken to a hospital with serious injuries. The 4-door white Tesla was traveling south on Highway 1 just south of the Tom Lantos Tunnel between Pacifica and Montera. I don't know if you're familiar with the area. On Monday morning, when it veered off the road, it plunged at least 250 feet below the road, and a dramatic rescue mission ensued. The damage to the vehicle would indicate that it hit and then flipped several times as it. Okay, never mind. He said the car came to a rest on its 4. Oh my God, look at this stupid car. That's crazy. Here, I'll show you the car. That anybody survived this is incredible. Here. 2 little kids, 4-year-old, 9-year-old. Here, we'll show you the car. I'm telling you, you're thinking about buying a Tesla. Look at that. Look at that thing. that thing, they survived. It plummeted down 300 feet down a cliff. 2 kids, 2 people, they survived. But, just yesterday it was all, it's that self-driving stuff. AI doesn't, people were saying that because they're looking to take a shit on Elon Musk. And I get that. I mean, it's fun to shit on Elon Musk. Like I said, he's a weirdo. But that's not the case at all. It's not the case at all. As it turns out, the father actually did this on purpose. He's got 2 kids, got a lovely wife. He's got the credit to get financed for a Tesla, or possibly even just bought the Tesla with cash. So, money seems to not be a big issue, unless maybe the money going away is the big issue. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's like, I'm not going to be able to afford the Tesla anymore. My life is falling apart. Let's kill everybody. Based on the evidence collected, investigators developed probable cause to believe this incident was an intentional act. The driver from Pasadena, California, was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and child endangerment. According to an arrest report, he will be formally booked in San Mateo County Jail after his hospital treatment. Well, apparently he's in the hospital. All right, there you go. So if you were hearing about the Tesla that self-drove itself over a cliff, no. Turns out that that looks to have been an intentional act. What else do we have here? Oh, speaking of weird rich guys, Jeff Bezos is trending. Weird rich guy number 2 here in America. Bezos is trending because there are rumors that he's going to be returning to the day in, day out operations of Amazon. I don't know what this means, but if you see Jeff Bezos trending or people talking about Jeff Bezos, it's because I didn't even know he left. He left Amazon? Well, whatever. Anyway, he's trending because the return of the Bezos is something that people, I don't know if they're excited about or whatever. Here's one. All right. Any of my friends in Louisiana? I know I got a lot of friends in Louisiana. Oh boy. Any of you guys like to jerk it? Any of you guys in Louisiana, you interested in the internet porn? Well, you better cut that out because guess what? Check this out. Now, I'm pretty libertarian on most. This is troubling. If you want to look at porn now in the state of Louisiana, if you're connecting to Pornhub or whatever in the state of Louisiana, you got to register. That's right. It doesn't matter what you're looking at, what your kink is, whatever fetishes you are interested in. In order, if you live in Louisiana, if you want to go to Pornhub, is it starting today? I don't know if it's starting today. You need to put your driver's license number into Pornhub. You need to give Pornhub your driver's license number. What? Holy shit. Yeah. And you thought that you were what? You were in, what do they call it? Incognito mode? Nah, forget about it. The state of Louisiana wants to know what kind of stuff you're interested in. And, this is some bullshit too, because Pornhub, theoretically, that's all legal stuff, right? I mean, if Pornhub was putting up illegal stuff, well, there's a number of cases where people have been like, that was a picture of me, taken when I was 17 and now it's illegal. So they take it down. But Pornhub is a $1 billion business. Okay. So they're pretty involved in making sure that all of their content, albeit freakish, certainly. I mean, I understand that they have a lot of fetishes. If you're interested in it, they've got all that, but it's all legal. None of it is. So why is the state of Louisiana doing this? Well, let me read you the report and then we'll talk a little bit about it because this is some bullshit, man. I mean, I would never in a million years put my driver's license number into a porn site that the state is going to be monitoring. No, thank you. By the way, this just says Pornhub. I don't know if it's just a Pornhub thing. Viewing Pornhub while in Louisiana now requires providing a driver's license to verify your age. Now look, I have a 13-year-old son, and I think a lot about one thing that I do believe in. I believe that we live in the era of pornography. We live in the era of where a 13-year-old kid, when I was 13 years old, maybe we'd find a Playboy in a garage, right? When I was 11, we used to go to that part in the school library that had all the National Geographics, and we'd look at naked tribal women, right? That was pornography for a 12, 13-year-old back in the early 80s. It's different now. It's different now with access to computers. I mean, kids can see, if you're a horny 12-year-old, there you can see, and let's be honest, that's science. Most 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds are super horny because, that's when stuff starts percolating. Their access to extreme porn, and they're being, good Lord. All right, let's talk about butt stuff, right? Butt stuff. I didn't even know what butt stuff was until I was in my 20s. Now, if you're 12 years old, you can just watch hardcore butt stuff as long as your parents aren't around. So the idea of tightening the restrictions on how easily accessible pornography is something that I think is very important, because I do believe that exposure to that kind of hardcore pornography at a young age, I don't know for sure, but just spitballing here, it seems like it might have some negative effects on one's sexual expectations as they move into the real world and start dating people. We have seen stories now. We've seen it now for decades of young married couples who are not engaging in sex. The husband doesn't want to have sex with his beautiful 25-year-old girlfriend, and she doesn't understand why. I'm telling you, it's because of pornography. It's because when you can have your most purient sexual fascinations fulfilled with the click of a mouse, when you have to crawl back into bed with the woman you're married to, not wearing makeup and her hair is in a ponytail and she's wearing sweatpants and that ratty t-shirt again, it's not the same thing. You have you have unreasonable expectations of what sex is supposed to deliver to you in the real world based on the fantasy of pornography. And I just don't know how, if you're 13 years old and you start ingesting hardcore pornography, when you start actually having a sexual relationship with somebody at 20 or whatever, what are your expectations? What can she please? Can a real person please? So I have real concerns about the negative effects of pornography on young people. I don't believe the pornography should be illegal. No, I'm in this way like my 9 p.m. Pillow Talk partner, James Parker. I'm pretty libertarian about grown adults should be able to do whatever they want. If a grown adult wants to destroy their sexual expectations by engaging in nonstop porn consumption, that's a grown adult. That grown adult can do it. I do worry about kids, though. I do worry about younger people and how they have access. So from that standpoint, Louisiana is shrouding this. You got to put your driver's license into the porn hub if you want to look at porn. They're shrouding this in sort of, to protect the children, which I'm for. But I don't think I don't think this is it. I don't think this is it. And I certainly don't think the state should be involved. If Pornhub on their end wants to start instituting new restrictions and new, gates that you have to go through in order to access their content, fine. But I don't like the state of Louisiana doing it where I got to put my driver's license. And now what? I'm on some list. What are you compiling a list of people who like butt stuff or whatever your fetish is? Trust me, there's a lot weirder fetishes than that. I'm just using that as an example. A new law makes porn sites liable for content deemed harmful to minors if it doesn't install age verification technology for anyone accessing them in Louisiana. And it's already affecting how people in the state access Pornhub. The law, which was signed by Louisiana Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards in June, became effective January 1st, 2023. Here's what the law states. Any commercial entity that knowingly and intentionally publishes or distributes material harmful to minors on the internet from a website that contains a substantial portion of such material shall be held liable if said entity fails to perform reasonable age verification methods to verify the age of individuals. Okay. A substantial portion is 33% or more of material on a website that is considered harmful to minors. So if you even have like a sports website that sometimes shows boobs or whatever, if you are at over the 33.3% threshold, you now have to have state mandated age verification, which will require you to enter a driver's license number. Well, what if you're not a driver? Well, how does that? I've never understood that. We're not required to have driver's licenses. Material that's harmful to minors, according to this act, is defined as appealing to prurient interests and that consists of... Oh, God. Material that is harmful to minors, according to the act, is defined as appealing to prurient interests and that consists of pubic hair, anus, vulva, genitals, or nipple of the female breast. Touching, caressing, or fondling of nipples, breasts, buttocks, anuses, or genitals, sexual intercourse. Oh my God, this list goes on. Sexual intercourse, masturbation, sodomy, bestiality. Bestiality isn't legal. You can't, any site that's got bestiality on it is all right. Isn't bestiality illegal? Oh God, it should be. Do I live in a world where bestiality is not illegal? Seriously? Am I just realizing this now? Okay, back to the things you can't do. Masturbation, sodomy, bestiality, oral copulation, flagellation. Any of you freaks into flagellation? What is flagellation? I gotta look up flagellation. I'm sorry. I don't know what flagellation is. Flagellation. Okay. All right. What is that? What is it? Flogging or beating, either as a religious discipline or for sexual Oh. All right. You know what? This whole story has gone off the rails. If you want porn in Louisiana, you now got to enter a driver's license number. There you go. Moving on. Let's see what else is trending here. Abortion pill. The abortion pill is trending. The FDA is going to allow pharmacies to now directly dispense the abortion pill. I don't know what the abortion pill is. What is this, like morning after pill? Because morning after pill, I understand. You had sex with somebody, condom broke. You had sex with somebody, didn't have a condom. You go down to the pharmacy, you take the morning. I don't know. Is there a day, take the morning after pill the morning after? I get that. I don't know what this is. Is this the morning after pill? The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is allowing certified pharmacists to now dispense the abortion medication mifepristone. Mifepristone. We'll call it mifepristone. To people who have a prescription. Mifepristone can be used along with another medication. Oh, here we go. Misoprostol to end a pregnancy. Previously, these pills could be ordered, prescribed, and dispensed only by a certified healthcare provider. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the FDA allowed the pills to be sent through the mail and said it would no longer enforce a rule requiring people to get the first of the two drugs in person at a clinic or hospital. Oh, God. Seriously? So if you want this abortion pill, you have to go to a doctor. He has to give you a prescription for the first pill, but then you have to go somewhere else to get this. As of Tuesday, the in-person requirement has been permanently removed. Pharmacies that become certified to do so can dispense the drugs directly to someone who has a prescription from a certified prescriber. The updated information was posted Tuesday on the FDA's website. At a time when people across the country are struggling to obtain abortion care services, this modification is critically important to expanding access to medication abortion services and will provide healthcare providers with an additional method for providing their patients with a safe and effective option for ending early pregnancy. All right, so there you have it. All right. I don't know what all that means, but if it's important to you, you probably do. Solar eclipse. Oh, look at this bull crap. Solar eclipse is trending. You guys, we got a solar eclipse. It's going to be a full solar eclipse. It's going to be so awesome. But here's the thing. You need to drop everything you're doing because this is the last time in your lifetime that you are ever going to see a solar eclipse. I've heard that about 40 times in my life. 40 times in my life. Somebody has said, this is the last time you're ever going to see. Like 5 years ago. Do you remember 5 years ago? Like everybody ran to Tennessee because apparently Tennessee was like the spot where you could perfectly see the last eclipse you're ever gonna see. Well, we got another one. Don't stop it. I hate that shit. These things happen all the time. I gotta go to Hawaii because it's the best location to see the solar eclipse. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, I do. It's the last one of my lifetime. No, it's not. No, it's not. There's going to be like at least 40 more in your lifetime. Well, this one is a 95% eclipse. It's all the same. Stop it. This is the last time you're going to see a 97% eclipse. And then they'll hype us up in a couple of years. This is the last time you'll see a 96% eclipse. Like, come on, man. Just stop hyping us. Everything is hype, hype, hype. So there's a solar eclipse coming again this year. So get all excited about it because it's the last time you'll ever see one. No, it's not. No, it's not. The next total solar eclipse, when the moon completely blocks the face of the sun, could be your last chance to see one of these for decades. No. Such an event is expected to cross over Mexico, the U.S., and Canada on April 8th, 2024. This according to NASA. That will be the last total solar eclipse visible from the contiguous United States. They're all of these add-ons. It's the last solar eclipse. No, it's not. It's the last complete solar eclipse that you'll be able to see from. It's like all of these rules. Stop it. Total solar eclipses happen every 1 or 2 or 3 years, but the events are usually only visible from Earth's poles or from the middle of the ocean. While next year's eclipse, which is actually this coming year, and we're in the year, this year's eclipse won't be visible from coast to coast. The path of totality does go across a dozen states, including Texas. That's right, we can see it here in Texas, Arkansas, New York, Pennsylvania. Totality will start over the side. I don't care. We moved on. That's why solar eclipse is trending, because they're trying to get us all hyped up. Another solar eclipse. You got to look at it. Do you remember the other one? Remember when Trump was like, don't look at the solar eclipse. And then Trump was like, ah! He's like staring right up at it. That was the last time you'll ever see a solar eclipse. The president came out on his balcony because it was a big deal. Let's look at it. And he looks directly at it. It's like, he's funny. I miss him. He's so funny. He was such a... I don't miss him as leader of the free world. I don't like mean Trump. Trump is now mean Trump. Trump is like mean, angry Trump. He's always been kind of mean, angry. But there was like a silliness to him that I did kind of enjoy. That I was like, okay, he's like America's greatest stand-up comedian. And he's president. Now he's mean. Now he's just mean and angry all the time, which is not fun. I like the Trump who looked directly up at the eclipse. That guy was funny. Bring that guy back. And just not in the White House, no. We don't need that. We don't. Seriously, it's just too many troubles that come with that. I'm in a nice compromise, dude. All right, let's check back in with the House. Let's see what's going on there. Look at me. I just revealed some politics. I don't like to do politics. All right, what's going on here? Oh, I got old Ken Buck, who's a Republican from Colorado, frozen on my screen. All right. So solar eclipse. That's some nonsense going on there. New bond. Apparently this is going to be tracking every couple of days. Just a couple of days ago, we talked about the Barbara Broccoli, the producer of the Bond franchise. Barbara Broccoli, she likes some dude from Emily in Paris. Some dude from Emily in Paris. She's like, he's going to be the new Bond. Nope. Now we got another one. Apparently Barbara Broccoli has another new Bond that she's very excited about. Dude's name is Aaron Taylor Johnson. I never heard of this guy, but that's okay. But that is okay because, as it turns out, we talked about it yesterday. I said most of the Bonds were kind of unknown before they took over the role. Daniel Craig, a bit of an exception. Pierce Brosnan, an exception, but Pierce Brosnan was rumored to have been Bond for 20 years. When the rumors about Pierce Brosnan being Bond started, he was fairly unknown. He was just a TV actor who was doing Remington Steele. Aaron Taylor Johnson emerges as a reported frontrunner for the role of James Bond. British male, 30-something. British male, 30-something. Those are the criteria that Barbara Broccoli, woman in charge of Bond, those are the criteria that she has. That is the minimum requirement. So if you're not British, she doesn't want you as Bond. If you're not a guy, she don't want you as Bond. And she wants you to be 30-something. These are the bare minimum requirements for the next James Bond, which has been described as a reinvention by producer Barbara Broccoli. This doesn't quite narrow down the numerous possibilities for a new 007, but it hasn't stopped those meticulous bookies from laying odds on the casting process. If we turn our attention to that arena, one Aaron Taylor Johnson has emerged as a new favorite in recent months. In November, The Sun reported that the Bullet Train star, Brad Pitt is the Bullet Train. Brad Pitt is the star of Bullet Train. Who is this guy? I'm looking at him. Does he look familiar to me? Never seen this guy before. Here, you guys check him out. Worship Hill, Solar Eclipse, New Bond. All right, here, this guy. This is the guy that I think Barbara Broccoli is just like this old cougar who's just one after another inviting these handsome young British actors to come hang out at her like estate there, and she's just somebody's got to have sex with Barbara Broccoli. I'm thinking that's going to be. Here's the guy. Here, show him to you. Okay, that's a pop-up. You're not going to want to see that. So here's this guy. I've never seen him before. You guys know this guy? Boom. His name is Aaron Taylor Johnson. Look at him. Look at him. He had the new Bond. I don't know. I don't care. I don't like Bond. I'm not a Bond guy. I don't give a shit. I don't think I've ever seen a Bond movie all the way through. I've seen pieces of Bond movies. In the 70s, like ABC Sunday Night Movie, they would show like a Bond movie, but those were always like... those were always Roger Moore or Sean Connery Bond movies. And, I never watched a full one, but, I was like, okay. And then when I started being able to pay for my own movie tickets, I have never paid to see a Bond. I've never seen a Bond. Here's my problem with Bond movies. I am very interested in the espionage genre. Like, I love spy films. By the way, Bad Horses, Stupid Horses, Dumb Horses, Dark Horses, Slow Horses on Apple TV. Oh, Slow Horses is so good. Stars Gary Oldman. Slow Horses is about the British MI6, MI5. I don't know what the difference is. Whatever the British like CIA is. And Slow Horses is a division. Well, it's a nickname that they give for the division of British spies who are all kept together in one place, who have all fucked up. These are all spies who on missions shit has gone wrong, and they're referred derisively within the British intelligence community as the Slow Horses. And Gary Oldman is the leader of the Slow Horses. He's their boss. He's like the guy who runs the office. It is so good. It is such a good, it's all like Cold War stuff, and it's very good. Anyway, I like that kind of espionage. I like the espionage that at least pretends to be rooted in reality. That's not James Bond. James Bond, look, I remember I'm watching James Bond, and I'm a kid, and he had a car, and an oil slick came out of the car. Like, Q's got all these cool things. So he hits a button, and an oil slick came out, and I'm like 9 years old, and I'm like, okay, that's taken me completely out of this, because I don't think that's a real thing. I don't think that's real. I'm more interested in the real machinations and the real sort of intelligence gathering. That's why I think that the Jack Ryan movies are 100 times better than any James Bond movie. You give me a Jack Ryan movie, and you give me, I'll tell you what, I'll give you Hunt for Red October. You give me the best James Bond movie, and you tell me which movie is better. Hunt for Red October is better than every James Bond movie that has ever been made. And that's not even Full Metal Jack Ryan. That's like, isn't Alec Baldwin Jack Ryan in that one? That's not even Harrison Ford Jack Ryan. All right. Anyway, your the guy from Emily in Paris was the guy a couple days ago that Barbara Broccoli was about. Oh, he's going to be the new Bond. But now it's this guy. This guy's name is Aaron Taylor Johnson, which, isn't that a girl? Isn't that a girl from isn't that a girl? Is it Aaron Taylor Johnson? Who am I thinking of? Aaron Taylor Johnson? I heard the name and I go, what, they're going to make a woman? Anna Taylor-Joy. That's who I'm getting him confused with. Okay, so Anna Taylor-Joy is a British actress, and Aaron Taylor Johnson is this new guy that they want to make Bond. So there you go. Good for him. Handsome guy. He's making the heart thing. Hey, he doesn't look like Bond. No, you know what? Yeah, he does. He looks like a modern Bond. Look, we're old, okay? We're old. That little Gen Z millennial cusp guy, whoever he is, he looks like what the new James Bond is going to look like. The new James Bond is going to make the heart thing. The new James Bond is not going to sleep with Soviet seductresses just without, having some ground rules set. That's the new James Bond. May I touch you here? Yes, Mr. Bond, you may touch me there. Here. This was another thing that was trending with this. So for years and years, Idris Elba was the guy that they thought was going to be the next James Bond, which but apparently Barbara Broccoli said, we can't do that. And then they were like, why? Because he's black? And she's like, no, because he's 50. We can't have a James Bond who's 50. She wants a James Bond. Same thing that eliminated Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy was another one who was believed to be, in the running for James Bond. But Hardy's people have said, yeah, no, he's not going to do James Bond now. Tom Hardy's like a big actor in his own right. He's got his own career going. He doesn't need to be derailed with committing to do 5 James Bond films over the next 20 years or whatever the deal is. Where are all the James Bonds? Because some of these I didn't recognize. All right, every James Bond actor so far. Okay, you ready? So Sean Connery played James Bond in 6 films. The final one being in 1983. Although, if we're being honest, Sean Connery started playing James Bond with Dr. No in 1962, and then ended it in 71 with Diamonds Are Forever. He only came back in 1983 as a one-off. David Niven played James Bond in the film Casino Royale in 1967. David Niven. George Lazenby, he was James Bond for just one film in 1969. Then we had Roger Moore. Roger Moore, I guess, would be the James Bond of my generation. He began with Live and Let Die in 73 and ended his run as Bond with A View to a Kill in 1985. Octopussy. Remember that one? 1983. That was Roger Moore. Wasn't Octopussy the same one? Yeah. Never Say Never Again, the James Bond film starring Sean Connery, was released at the same time as Octopussy, the James Bond film starring Roger Moore. I don't know which one did better, but one is non-canon, as they say. That's happened a couple of times when the rights to James Bond films have sort of lapsed and other producers have been able to come in and make them. That's why Sean Connery was brought back. Somebody had acquired the rights to make a James Bond movie that was outside of the purview of Barbara Broccoli and Albert Broccoli and the Broccoli people. So they made a competing one. Timothy Dalton played James Bond for 2 films, 1987's The Living Daylights and 1989's License to Kill. Pierce Brosnan then took over the role in 1995. He played GoldenEye and then ended with Die Another Day in 2002. And then Daniel Craig. Casino Royale was Daniel Craig's first, and then his last was No Time to Die in 2021. I think that if I were to look or watch... If I were to say, you know what, I should watch a James Bond film from beginning to end, I should just watch it. Who knows? Maybe it'll spark something. Maybe you're like, okay, I get it now. If I were to do that, I think I would start with Daniel Craig, right? What would be Skyfall? Everyone says Skyfall is like, no, that's the best modern Bond film. Maybe that's one I should see. I don't know. I don't have time. You know what I'm rewatching now? And I'm watching like the 4-hour edition of it. So I'm only doing it for like 40 minutes a night. I'm rewatching Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now redo the the 2000 remastering of Apocalypse Now by Francis Ford Coppola, where he added like, an extra hour worth of stuff. Man, Apocalypse Now is so good. I haven't seen Apocalypse Now in probably 25 years. I'm rewatching this. It is so good, man. So I don't have time for James Bond experiments. I am rewatching Apocalypse Now, and I'm telling you, I'm doing it in like little 20-minute chunks before I go to bed. I'm like, check out, which is probably not good. Apocalypse Now is not something you want to fill your head just before you go to bed. But anyway, that's what I'm into. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? What else is trending? Is there more stuff? Yeah. Okay, so Romeo and Juliet is trending. Romeo and Juliet, not the Shakespeare play. Well, yeah, the Shakespeare play, but not, this is the 1969 film Romeo and Juliet that was made by I don't know, Zeffiridi or something like that. Ooh, who was the guy? Romeo and Juliet stars sue Paramount for child abuse over nude scene in 1968 film. So these two actors, who I've never heard of, Olivia Hussey and Leonard Whiting, they played Romeo and Juliet in the 1968 Franco Zeffirelli version of Romeo and Juliet. Apparently it was a big hit. But they were 15 and 16 years old when they were cast. And apparently there's nude scenes. And now they're like 71 years old. And they're like, we want to sue Paramount because we were underage and naked. They claim it has been decades of trauma for, oh, stop it. It's a little creepy. Like, I don't think directors, although it was the 60s, there were no rules. I don't think directors I don't think there should be nude scenes that involve children ever in films. Let's just hard and fast. I mean, I think that probably is the rule now. But back then, who knows? There were no, hey man, in 1903, we electrocuted an elephant just for shits and giggles. So you can see humanity, it feels like in the last 20 years is when we've only started making rules where we're trying to be better. And that's why people like Byron are always angry at the world, because Byron wants to electrocute an elephant. Olivia Hussey and Leonard Whiting were just teenagers when they electrified audiences in the 1968 version of Romeo and Juliet. The film was a hit and was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, but it also stirred controversy over a bedroom scene, which included images of Whiting's buttocks, that's the dude, and Hussey's bare breasts. Now in their 70s, Hussey and Whiting filed a lawsuit in Santa Monica Superior Court on Friday accusing Paramount of sexually exploiting them and distributing nude images of adolescent children. The suit alleges that Zeffirelli, who died in 2019, assured both actors that there would be no nudity in the film and that they would wear flesh-colored undergarments in the bedroom scene. But in the final days of filming, the director allegedly implored them to perform in the nude with body makeup, or the picture would fail, he told the kids. Hussey was 15 at the time and Whiting was 16. According to the complaint, Zeffirelli showed them where the camera would be positioned and assured them that no nudity would be photographed or released in the film. The suit alleges that he was being dishonest and that Whiting and Hussey were in fact filmed nude without their knowledge. What they were told and what went on were two completely different things, said Tony Maranzanotti, who is a business manager for both actors. They trusted Franco. At 16, as actors, they took his lead that he would not violate that trust that they'd had in him. Franco was their friend, and frankly, at 16, what do? There are no options. There was no #MeToo. According to the complaint, Hussey and Whiting has suffered mental anguish and emotional distress in the 55 years since the film's release, and have also lost out on job opportunities. Did you, though? Did you? Or, because I looked at both of their filmographies, they both did a bunch of movies and stuff. Did you miss out on job opportunities, or did you get job opportunities in the wake of being in a film that was a big hit that was nominated for 4 Academy Awards? Okay, I'm gonna have to play. I think this is total bullshit. I'm sorry. I would just open up the door for Brooke Shields. She was like 15 years old in Blue Lagoon. We saw 15-year-old Nick. Does this open up the doors for Brooke Shields again in the film Pretty Baby? Where I think, how about Jodie Foster? Can Jodie Foster sue Martin Scorsese for the way she was depicted as a sexual animal at 15, 16 years old in Taxi Driver? No, 15, 16. I think she was like 12 or 13. I think she was like super young. Anyway, this has been going on. It's not a good thing, but I don't believe that you have any legal ground to stand on. If 55 years later, you're saying, it's just dawning on me now that the reason my life didn't work out the way I did is because of the movie I made when I was 15. Some bullshit. Maybe they'll get some money to make it go away. I don't know. Jenna Ortega is trending today. Jenna Ortega, I really like Jenna Ortega. She has something. There is like a spark. There is something that is very interesting about this young actress. She's, I guess, what is she famous for now? Wednesday. She plays Wednesday Addams in the new Netflix series Wednesday. But boy, she is a pistol. She's got opinions. She doesn't care. Bunch of Israeli people are now saying that she's as bad as Kanye West. That's right. Jenna Ortega is an anti-Semite. She's not. She's not really. She's not. There's nothing about what she did that is anti-Semitic. What she did do was Instagram support for the Palestinian people. She supports Palestine, and she didn't say anything about Jews or Israel or anything like that. She's just and now Israel is all angry at her. And an article titled "Jenna Ortega versus Kanye West: Whose anti-Semitic hate is worse?" This is so stupid. This is so stupid because she's just advocating for the people of Palestine. Okay, that's all she's doing. Kanye West is saying Jews are the reason that the world is bad. I mean, there's a completely different, it's two totally different things. So anybody who would write an article called Jenna Ortega versus Kanye, whose anti-Semitic hate is worse, is a moron. If you sat there and typed that out, you're a friggin' idiot. Kanye West is an American rapper, while Jenna Ortega is an American actress who recently played the role of Wednesday Addams in the Netflix series called Wednesday. But what many pointed out was Ortega's support for the Palestinian cause when she rendered her support for Palestine on Twitter along with Yemen, Ukraine, Kashmir, Iraq, and Syria. She also tweeted, and this is what got her in trouble, decolonize Palestine. That's all she did, decolonize Palestine. The Times of Israel compared Ortega's well-intentioned but uninformed anti-Semitism with Kanye's open hatred of the Jews. Why? Why would you make the Times of Israel compared what they're saying Ortega's was? They're saying that they compared her well-intentioned but uninformed anti-Semitism with Kanye's open hatred. Okay, so why are you comparing the two? One is obviously worse. If you believe that the other girl was well-intentioned and she's just wrong about a few facts, that is not the same as a guy who just openly hates Jews. So stop it. Leave her alone. But she's hot. And by hot, I mean a hot property. She's also a beautiful young woman. But she's a hot property, and her name, you can, if you want to call her something, you might get a little bit of publicity for your article, the one that compares her to Kanye West, than you would with somebody who was more anonymous. She's hot right now. She's big. That Wednesday show on Netflix was a big hit in the last couple of weeks. So now everybody's talking about Jenna Ortega. I like her. I like her a lot. I think she's cool. I think she seems like she's got something. There is something about when you watch her on screen. And I mean, she's an attractive young woman. She's 20 years old, so she's attractive. So she's going to catch your eye anyway. But being attractive is a dime a dozen proposition in Hollywood. Everybody in Hollywood's attractive, right? They don't pop off the screen like some people do. She's no more or less attractive than, say, like Selena Gomez. Although I would say Selena Gomez pops too. There is that Only Murders in the Building. I'd never given a second thought to Selena Gomez before until I watched the first season of Only Murders in the Building, and I went, "Oh, okay, I kind of get it. Yeah, she's got something. She's kind of interesting." Well, I would compare Jenna Ortega to that. She's got something. She's not completely dismissible and forgettable. She might stick around. I don't know. Anyway, she's in trouble. Or not in trouble, but she's being miscast as an anti-Semite, which I don't believe she is. I think she just cares about people. I think she just cares about, All right, that's going to do it. That's all we got for today's show. Let's check out, let's see what Twitter's getting into. That's how we like to end each show, by jumping into Twitter and seeing what kind of nonsense is going on here. Let's see. Salesforce. Salesforce is trending. I was going to mention this, but Salesforce, the company Salesforce, I don't know what they do. It has always been my nightmare to have to be a salesperson. Here's what sucks about it. I know that if I committed to being a salesperson, I'd be fucking great. I would be so good. I would be so good. I mean, I can talk to people. I can keep a conversation going. You know what I mean? I can close pretty good. Like when I want something with somebody and I'm negotiating, I can close. I know I'd be a terrific salesperson, but I can't do it. I could not do it. It would be like here's how I could be a really great salesperson. If the property that I was selling, like the thing, the product or whatever it is, if I truly believed in it, like if I really believed that this product was awesome, I could sell it to anybody. But if I've got a product and I don't think you really need this product, I can't do that. I can't just openly lie to people about, no, it'll change your life. And I can't. I have friends who are in sales and they're drunks. They can't. Oh, I have one friend who is an amazing salesperson, and he does well. I guess I could say what his product is something that he probably does believe in. So maybe that makes it easier for him. But anyway, Salesforce is cutting back. Salesforce is like with 10% of their Salesforce, 10% of their Salesforce, 10% of their. Let's see. I'll just bring it to you. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Order of execution. Salesforce Inc. plans to cut its workforce by 10% and close some offices nationwide. All right, so there you go. Salesforce gains on plan to cut jobs, offices amid slowing sales. That's got to be bad. It's got to be bad if you're Salesforce and you have slow sales. Cartoon Network is trending. I don't know why. I should do that. Then a whole bunch of politics, 20 Republicans, Chip Roy, Skrillex. I don't know who Skrillex is. I know he's a thing. I know he's he's a DJ who people are like, he's a great artist. Is he? Okay. Skrillex. Why is Skrillex trending? I don't know what this says. I don't know. Skrillex got a new song. I don't know. I couldn't. I've heard Skrillex songs. How can you tell one from another? I'm sorry. I'm not going to go into it. All right, that's it. I'm too old for Skrillex. Apparently, I'm just not down with Skrillex. All right, that's going to do it. We'll be back tonight at 9:00. We're going to do Pugs and Parker, the Pillow Talk show. Tonight, 9:00 Central Time. That's about it. I guess that's all we have to offer you here. Why is okay? This isn't working. That's the wrong closing theme. There it is. All right. I have got my poetry. Jeff Ballard says the new Bond will probably be non-binary, cast iron pansexual. No, he won't. That's what we're talking about. Barbara Broccoli has 3 criteria. Must be British, must be a man, and must be 30-something. So, Jeff, I don't know if you're wish casting, like if that's something that you'd be interested in a new Bond, but no, Barbara Broccoli is British, male, mid-30s. So don't worry about it. Barbara Broccoli seems to be old school. So if you're concerned about the liberalification of James Bond, don't worry about it. Barbara Broccoli's old school. I am on a never-ending quest. All right. I can smile a little. See you tomorrow. If you're a high noon guy, we'll be back tomorrow at noon. If you like more of this nonsense and you want to hear me with another idiot, join us tonight at 9:00. It'll be me and James Parker. A multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. All right, bye, everybody. See you tonight at 9:00.
runway, so baffling to some.